spot of tea.
Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? It's Sam from CameraLegend.com, back today with a quick and late edition of Tuesday Trends. Today I am going to talk about why I no longer recommend film cameras for beginners, for starters. It used to be as recent as 4 or 5 years ago, I would still recommend film cameras for the beginner, but today it's a different story, and I'm going to tell you why. Despite my love for film cameras and film photography, I am not recommending a film camera as a starter camera. And the reason for that is, back in the good old days, people used to recommend film cameras. And even now, when you look on YouTube, you see a lot of people recommending film cameras for the beginner. But you guys, being the most educated people on YouTube, you guys know that a lot of these folks who are recommending the film cameras are actually 16-year-olds, 20-year-olds. You know, they're schooling us on film photography, and I do appreciate that. They do a great job. But truth of the matter is, a lot of these folks did not grow up in the film era. And back then, the reason why you recommend a film camera is because you had no choice. All you had were film cameras. But in today's world, you have a lot of choices. And I recommend starting out with a digital SLR simply for the fact that the main reason really is because in today's world, especially here in the US of A, and probably elsewhere around the world too, I think, film development is very, very inconvenient these days. I mean, unless you are developing your own black and white film or color film, it is just so inconvenient. Back in the good old days, we used to have 1 hour photo stores everywhere. You can get your photos done in an hour. CVS and Walgreens used to offer them. Then as digital began to rise, the 1 hour became like a few days, a couple of days. Then it became a week. Now I think it's up to 2 weeks. And worst of all, big places like CVS and Walgreens will not return your negatives. Well, at least the ones that I've been to, if you read the fine print, negatives will not be returned. And for me, that is a no-no. Why the hell would you shoot film if you're not going to get your negatives back? You know, all you're going to get are low quality scans. Might as well shoot like a digital point and shoot or something, man. Anyway, so that's the reason I recommend a digital SLR as a first camera for today's kids, students, budding photography buffs. Because as the time that it takes for you to get your film back, probably lose interest. Plus, since we know the idiosyncrasies of film, such as not knowing what you're going to get, it's very likely for the beginner that the very first roll you get back, the images are going to be lousy. And you know it, come on. But you know, that's part of the fun of film, is to develop, to learn. Now, I will say that once you show that there's interest and you're more into it, then yes, I would definitely recommend a film camera, because a film camera is going to take your game up a whole notch. You know, you'll be a much more proficient photographer after using a film camera. So in upcoming episodes, I will be recommending a few nice digital SLRs that you can get that I would call cheap and good. But that's coming up in future episodes. Now, if you find that you're actually interested in photography, if the passion is growing after a brief period of time with your digital SLR, then yes, of course, I will recommend some film cameras. And I'm going to have a whole bunch of them coming up in future episodes as well, so keep an eye on that. Alright, you guys, thanks so much for listening. I do appreciate it. And remember, it's just one man's opinion, so take it with a grain of salt and do as you wish. I will catch you guys next time on the CameraLegend.com YouTube channel.
YouTube.